In the previous video, we have seen an example that reduced the workload of the dispatcher to improve the overall performance. Now, since the dispatcher is no longer a performance bottleneck, we need to look at the performance bottlenecks within the compute unit. We can review the code. In this code, we let each thread to process a certain number of pixels, and we have this loop. If you look at this loop, the main statement that is producing the result is the content of this loop. It's one line of code. The index is smaller than the number of pixels, and the index plus equal to global size doesn't come free. And we still need instructions to process those commands and process the control statement. Therefore, we're adding some overhead to the body of the loop. Following the previous thought, if we want to reduce the overhead, we should add more work to the body of the loop. So how we can add more work? And this method is called loop unrolling. We want each iteration of the loop to process more tasks, so we manually write multiple statements for multiple iterations of the loop within one loop iteration. So let's see what we can do. In this example, we first define a macro that is an unrolling factor. We set it to 1 for now, but we will extend it to other values. In each iteration of the loop, we process multiple pixels that equals to the unrolling factor. So here, we change the boundary check to I multiplied by unroll that is smaller than number of values. And the index of the pixel that we want to process is I multiplied by unroll. Then in the main body of this loop, we separated the statement into 3 different statements. The first one is the loading part. We basically read the value of 1 pixel and store it in this variable called value 0. Then we do the calculation. We store the calculation result back to this value 0. Value 0 should be encoded in a register. If the compiler is working properly, this value 0 should be encoded in a register. Then finally, we store the result back to the main memory using the last statement. As you can see, there are 3 ... so that we can define a variable called value1 that reads the next pixel and perform the operation and write it back. So as we can see, we read the data first, then we do the calculation, then we write the data back. This method is a manual optimization that can overlap the memory access with the computation. This unroll factor is a meta parameter that we can change to achieve the best performance. No matter what this unroll value is assigned, the result should be the same. So let's try to run this program and see if the performance can improve. This time, we tried on a MI100 GPU. As you can see in the chart on the right, we changed the unroll factor. When the unroll factor is 1, it's basically the original program. As we increase the unroll factor to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we can see the execution time decreases and the performance improves. Unroll factor is 6 is a sweet point, but we can keep exploring this example by extending an unroll factor to a super large value. This high unroll factor is unusual, but can help us understand how GPU works and what are pitfalls in the performance tuning for GPU programs. As we increase the unroll factor beyond 12, we can see the performance decreases, although it's not too bad. But after 28, the performance is much worse. So we can try to understand what is going on here. We use ROC profiler to get more information. The first thing we want to check is not if the instructions is decreasing or increasing as we increase the unroll factor. As we can see, the vector ALU instructions are decreasing until unrolling factor equals 8. And the scalar ALU instructions decreases until unrolling factor equals 20. So basically, before the unrolling factor is 8, it follows our expectation that we use loop unrolling to reduce the number of instructions and to reduce the overhead. But after 12, the instruction count grows larger. So we want to understand why the instruction counts grows higher. So as we keep running the ROC profiler, we want to examine if this is memory bound or a compute bound workload. As you can see on the right, we draw this percent of time when the AVLU is busy and when the memory unit is stalled. So basically before the unrolling factor is 23, VLU is very busy. The percent of time that the VLU is busy stays above 90%. But as we increase the unrolling factor, the VLU busy time significantly reduces, down to about 40% of time. So we know VLU busy is low is a bad thing. Then we know that VLU is not fully utilized when unrolling factor is large. As we increase the unrolling factor, we see the memory unit is stalled very high. From this figure, we also know this image gamma kernel is a highly compute-intensive workload. So what can be the reason that there's a sudden drop in the VLU busy percentage of time? So we still run this ROC profiler, and we care about the amount of data that's read from the memory and written to the memory. Before 25, the value is very stable, but after 25, we see a lot of read and the write going into the main memory. This is because of register spilling. When we have a high unrolling factor, we actually need to use a lot of registers, but the GPU hardware cannot really provide this number of registers. Therefore, we have to use main memory as some of the registers that is required. That is called register spilling. When we're using too many registers, the registers are spilling into the main memory, causing excessive memory access. So from this example, we can see using a lot of registers is not a good thing. It also reduces the occupancy as each compute unit can only run a smaller number of workgroups. So in the next video, we're going to explore how occupancy impacts the overall performance.